And welcome back to Face the Nation. We're going to talk some more about these terror attacks, and we're joined by CBS News senior national security contributor Michael Morell, formerly number 2 out at the CIA. Mike, you said something the other day on the evening news that really took me aback. You said that on the time of 9/11, Al-Qaeda was in one place, Afghanistan, and you say today they are in 30 to 40 places. Does that mean they're more powerful now than they were then?
Bob, just to kind of scope this for people, in this fight we've had against Al-Qaeda since 9/11, we've had a very significant victory in that fight, and so have they. Our significant victory has been the degradation, near defeat of Al-Qaeda in Pakistan, those people that brought us 9/11, the capture and killing of bin Laden. Their great victory has been the spread of their ideology, right, across this huge geographic area in Africa, in the Middle East, Europe, South Asia. That's where you get that 30 to 35 to 40 countries. And these are groups that are actually associated with Al-Qaeda, and these are individuals who buy into the ideology.
Well, this whole deal, now of these homegrown terrorists, I mean, obviously we've entered in a different phase, but here in Washington last week, where we saw a kid out in Ohio who apparently had no connection to any of these groups, but was kind of trying to impress them. And so he's coming to Washington with a whole bunch of ammunition and automatic weapons and was going to build pipe bombs to blow up the Capitol. How do we deal with that?
We've had this problem for a long time. Just to reiterate something that Prime Minister Cameron said, we had the Fort Hood shootings, we had the Boston bombings, so we've had radicalized Americans conduct these attacks. I expect more. I think we're going to see a Paris-style attack here. We need to be prepared for that. It's very difficult to deal with, right? We usually catch terrorists because they're communicating with each other. And when you're self-radicalized, right, particularly a lone individual, you're probably not communicating with somebody. Very difficult to find you.
What do we think? There are about 150 Americans that we know of in this country, we think, who have been to Syria.
So sizing the problem here, right? There's been a couple hundred Americans who have gone to Syria or Iraq to fight for one of the extremist groups there, either ISIS or al-Nusra. Don't know how many have come back. In Western Europe, the number is between 2,500 and 5,000 people. So Western Europe has a bigger problem, but we also share that problem with Western Europe because those individuals can get on an aircraft and come to the United States without a visa. So we have our own problem, and then we have to worry about West Europeans coming here.
Do we think the danger now is greater than it was?
I think you have to think about the danger from Al-Qaeda as an organization, right? And the danger from them is less than it was on 9/11. Al-Qaeda can't conduct a 9/11 style attack today. Multiple simultaneous attacks that kill thousands. They don't have that capability. They do have the capability to conduct small attacks. But the lone individuals, right, the lone individuals who might go out and do something, that number is much larger than it ever has been before.
What do we need to be doing that we're not doing? Prime Minister Cameron wants to give intelligence agencies greater leeway to hack into social media and encrypted media. We know the media companies in the United States are very much against that. Do we have to look at that?
I think we have to look at a couple things. One is we have to make sure that law enforcement and intelligence has the resources that it needs, the dollars, the people, and the technology. And I think we have to look at some of the questions that get at, that bear on secrecy versus security, right? We have to look at that. But the other thing we have to look at, Bob, which I think is the bigger issue, is how do we stop the production of terrorists? How do we deal with this message from the jihadists that is so attractive to young people in Europe and some people in the United States? We've never really got at that.
Well, what is it about this message that is attractive? It's not attractive to me.
It's attractive to alienated youth, right? And there are more alienated youth in Europe than there are in the United States. There are immigrants in Europe that have never really fully integrated into European society. It's individuals who feel that alienation, who are open to this message of the West is trying to destroy Islam, come and fight for us to protect it.
All right, Mike Morell, always good to have you.
Good to be here.
We'll be back to talk some politics in just a minute.